So my watch is dying, so now I have to sit here and see if I can figure out how Google Fit works, if Google Fit works. It's hard for me to forget what day it is today. It's always a somber milestone for me. Okay. So if I take a step forward and I take a step back, I'm not sure what it's doing. Let's hope. Let's hope that, I don't know. I've never done this before with Google Fit. Usually it's automatically tracking my stuff. But it'll make some people happy to know that I won't have overlay videos for a couple of days. Hell, I may not have overlay videos for a couple of weeks. I mean, technically, if you want an overlay of where I've been and you know what was happening at a certain period of time, you can look at the links that I put in there for the air quality tracker. That thing actually has like a whole mess of CSV. It's a smorgasbord of data. It's not just about fitness, it's about location, time. I don't know what else it tracks, but it's got all that good stuff in it. I think I'm going to have to start picking up trash again. So, I don't know what's going on. Is this a seasonal thing where a bunch of guys just show up and start dumping trash all over the place, or what? All right, what do we got? We got this and that. Oh yeah, and then there's my music. Rolls Royce. So all I remember from from Rolls Royce is the trumpet player. So the blast section is having way more fun than it should on this song. They're supposed to be just the background. And they come blasting out there. Ba, 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 ba. You know, ba-da-da, ba-da-da. Ba, ba, ba. And then they stretch out the note. I guess I need to find a jazz cover of Ooh Boy. I think everybody's slow. Okay. No, why are they slowed up? That's weird. So, you know, everything on that car is legal. No, I've become one of those old men that's stuck in the past. And the reason I say that is every once in a while, the video game music keeps playing in my ears. And it's the same video game music I've been listening to for like 40 years. I don't know, they've made stuff since then. It's not that I don't want to move forward. I find myself not really liking anything that's out there today. Like I'm a big fan of the music of Toby Fox and Phantom Mink and Bert, especially Adhesive Wombat, stuff like that I've been listening to. Oh, I can't hear this. I don't know if the volume turned down or what. Listening to the very obscure song. It's the intro to the completely mixed up misadventures, the completely messed up mental misadventures of Ed Grimley. It was a Saturday morning cartoon that aired for like one season on NBC. I didn't know anything about that when I was a kid. I was looking at all these guys thinking, I was like, boy, these are some weird cartoons. But it was like every person who was on SCTV got a Saturday morning cartoon at one point. And I don't know if that was NBC. They bought the rights to SCTV, and so they got they had these guys, and they gave them like options for a character. But just about every character had, every person on that show had a Saturday morning cartoon directly, except for Harold Ramis and Eugene Levy. I don't know what happened with Eugene Levy. I don't know if they just didn't, they looked at him and said, no, we just can't do it. Or he just didn't want to do it. It'll be one of those mysteries. Rick Moranis had a show. John Candy had a show. Ed Flattery was playing Clown Floyd on Martin Short's Ed Grimsley Saturday morning cartoons. There's 3 characters. No, 4 guys, 3 characters. Yeah, 4 guys and 4 characters. Did Dave Thomas have? Dave Thomas didn't have a. Was he on SCTV? Yes, he was. I don't know why I forget that. I was looking at the days of the week. He played the psychopath. That was a weird deal. He was supposed to be this guy who was marrying this girl, marrying Catherine O'Hara's character for money, and that was a weird one. And I think the only reason that Harold Ramis never directly had a show was because indirectly he was in the background doing all the machinations for the other shows. You'd see like Harold Ramis's name as an executive producer. Like that was the case for the real Ghostbusters. I remember that was one of the things they put on there. Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd, and they were like executive producers on the show. Or maybe they just said it was created by them. Again, what the hell is going on out here? Ah, it's windy, that's what. All right, let's get that out of the road. Thought I saw a pile of it just pisses me off, man. A lot going on. Well, the news, like my news feed has been very, very Spartan. Other than Iran really flexing its muscles and letting the people know, look, we're tired of Donald Trump telling y'all every day that there's a deal going to be in place. They say, we haven't talked about shit. And Donald Trump getting all mad, and I was like, well, we don't believe you anymore. How fucked up is that I can't believe what the President of the United States tells me? I'm believing what a longtime enemy is telling me. And then I'm starting to ask my question is, why are they a longtime enemy? Because the more I studied the history on it, this was something that was started because of the British and the Americans. And yeah, you got they got an evil empire or an authoritarian empire in Iran. You have no one to blame but yourselves for the reason that's in there. $50 years of venom for oil. $50 years of gaslighting these people. And you wonder why they don't believe anything you have to say. So what's going to happen with that? Iran can wait. Iran has nothing to lose. And of course, Trump learned that lesson. He had bone spurs doing Vietnam. So he didn't get the joy of figuring out what it's like to fight people who have nothing to lose. They can just wait you out. Of course, he didn't learn the lessons from Vietnam. He was a draft dodger. And so this is why this guy's making the same mistakes. There's a lot going on tonight. What time is it? It is 22:16. And there's my radar jammer. Where is that damn thing? So it always happens around here. My radar gets kind of scrambled. Now, is this the one with... $40. Okay, so this is the one with the weekend. I think this is the source of my interference. $34, $44. It doesn't have a lock on it. It's got bolts on it though. Yeah, there's some kind of, okay. What do you suppose it is? It might be a signal box of some sort. And they get a radio every once in a while to let them know what's going on. And I'm using this. And maybe I'm getting radio frequency interference. But the numbers are wildly off. It could be another radar. That's the other thing. That might be a monitoring box. And so that tells me that they're already well aware of the speeds of the people going down here. It doesn't look like a radar, but then again, neither does this. It's just a box. And then I've actually taken this thing, or took the other one apart. And it's got a little, like this thing right I got in my hand, you can build this yourself. I'm just lazy. Well, I'm not just lazy. It's not just about the hardware. I also have to program software into it. And somebody already took care of that for me. But these are it's a little kit that I got it at home. That's the funny thing, but it's for, no, I don't have that kit. I have the sensor for particulate matter sensor. And it's just a matter of hooking it up to something and then programming it with what do they use? Oh, what's the name of that thing they use? Python. They have little Python scripts that they program for the for the devices. Sorry, I always get quiet when Shaggy's on. Nah, I just have a flashback to a girl I saw dancing on. God, that was hot. I think about the way she was dancing, and I was like, oh, Mr. Lover. What's his deal? Got somebody's attention? I guess so. I don't think it's me though. I guess we'll find out if he pulls me over. Nah, it's just the irony of this. Mr. Lovey is the ultimate strip club song, but it samples the bass riff from a song called Impeach the President. Music's a funny thing, man. It's a patchwork quilt of emotions and experiences. Somebody says, I'll take the thing from this and I'll put it over here and turn it into this. Our national anthem is based on a drinking song. A drinking song with its lyrics are about Greek gods. Bacchus. The children of Bacchus. The god of wine. A nation whose anthem's bones are made from a song about the god of wine. That's what makes me kind of hopeless about the whole. It's amazing that there was an alcohol prohibition in this country. It just seems like an insanely stupid thing that it's like it's almost impossible to enforce. So I'm gonna stop going to Midway. I didn't realize he was moist at the sound of the baritone voice. So there's my boy who was watching me earlier. You think you might have done it? Man, I think I might have lit a fire into some people. I don't know. Fuck it. If that's what it takes to start monitoring the speed around here. This is a long song. And no, I don't think I have the long version. This is just... All right, one more time, Shaggy. I just love it. It's a great walking song, though. It's a sex song based on a political song. But it gives you an interesting cadence in your walk. It's so hard to keep cadence with this, because you have to walk fast and then you have to walk slow. In fact, in one part you have to stretch your step. So you have to slow down, stretch out your step, and then hit the next two or three steps fast, and then slow down again. So just imagine this hottest sister you can picture in your mind, twerking to Mr. Lover. You can't just twerk the whole way through. You gotta deep step, get up real high, get it down low, and then start twerking and swirl it around. And I just didn't realize that a booty could swing like a clock. Anyway. Saying all this out loud in the middle of a nice neighborhood. He was talking about the most lewd things. I was like, it's because I'm a lewd dude. I can't change who I am, and I don't want to. I always think I'm gonna get attacked by a dog. All right, let's see what we got here. 25, 22. So the reason I'm going to stop going to Midway is because that's District 13. They got their own problems to figure out. This is District 6. Next on Wednesday when I go down Linnell, that's District 6. That's the border of District 6. And I didn't know this was part of that. I thought this was all somebody else's, so I didn't care about it. Or I didn't put much focus into it. But that's how divided we are here in Dallas. It's like, I didn't know that there was divisions. I just know that some neighbors I go to and the streets look immaculate, and then I go to other streets and they look like this. And it is kind of a perfect illustration, because this is the border. If I keep going that way and I hit Linnell, that's the border of District 6. And you start seeing a tale of two districts. This is what my district looks like, versus if I go to someone else's and they keep their shit up. And it's not necessarily a knock against our representative. Our representative is just a reflection of who we are. If we got a sorry representative, it's because we're sorry people voting in a sorry representative. We can stop that. So I'm not going to sit here and bag on my rep. I'm going to bag on the people that voted for my rep. That 100 or so people that keep showing up for every election, less than 10% of our population, and deciding this is who they want. The insane voters. And what I mean by insane is they keep voting the same way and expecting a different result. They can't understand why Dallas is hollowing out. But it's not just Dallas. Like I said, I just watched Road Guy Rob, and I just subscribed to him on Patreon because he's worth the money. And in his video, he wasn't trying to point that out, but that's what I saw when I was watching it, was even a city like Chicago, even a city like Chicago will sacrifice its sacred cows. Like, he was sitting there trying to chart Route 66, and he was trying to go to Chicago, and Chicago's pretty much just butchered most of Route 66 for its quote-unquote progress. And progress means one-way streets and parking that's controlled by a corporation. Chicago's a mess. He was like they were just trying to get him out of there. And there's nothing warm and friendly and inviting about Chicago. Chicago was just trying to shuffle people through as fast as they could. Chicago has no soul. I thought Dallas was bad, but I think it's starting to be it's a big city thing. I don't think any of these cities have soul. I'm reading an article today about how they had to cancel the LA Jazz Festival because of quote-unquote permits and safety reasons. But it's bullshit. It was just greed. And so LA has no soul. Hey, how's it going? A lot going on, man. Howdy. And so when I say Dallas doesn't have any kind of solar culture, I'm realizing now it's just reflecting every other city in the United States. Where do you find soul? And I guess that's why I latch on to something like strong towns. You know, these little big cities like Brainerd, Indiana. Like, I wasn't expecting anybody out here at 10 o'clock. The nights used to be mine. What's the other place? Cupertino, California, where Pixar is based. And Austin, Texas is not that big of a city. It just happens to be the capital. I think there's little places in Texas that have potential. San Antonio has a lot of potential. Dallas is just as soulless and big as every other city. Another example. So here I am in District 6, and you got potholes and uneven ground, and this all needs to be redone. But you're not going to have people getting together complaining about that. Next week, I'm going to go to the budget meeting, and I'm going to say my little piece about my little section of things, but I don't know if there's going to be, every meeting I've gone to, there are more city employees going to the meetings than there are citizens or voters or constituents. So that's his way of telling me that he knows that I was pointing the radar at him. I was like, I don't give a shit. Is he following me? He's following me. Is it him or is it someone else? Eventually he has to say hello, right? He's like, I've had enough of this guy. It's like, I'm hearing reports, and I was like, okay. Am I under arrest? So the questions will come. It is kind of weird to see them coming down here, though. Like I said, this is District 6. Maybe she's new. He or she is new. Maybe it has something to do with that party I saw back there. Maybe that's a big VIP. Maybe somebody complained about the noise. Maybe a lot of things. But he was over there. Then he was on Walnut Hill. And then as I'm coming down here, he's coming down here. Maybe I'm just catching him in the middle of the patrol. Who knows? Anyway, I'm gonna have to leave Dallas. Road guy Rob, I thought he lived in Utah. Maybe he did. But it sounded like he lives in Bakersfield, California, or he's based around that area. And so when I say I can't believe people move, I say, I know, I get it now. That house is empty. You know, she tried to make it work. She didn't look like she could probably connect to any of these neighbors around here. And she just said, this place is a dead bird. I'm out of here. Like, anybody who can afford to live here doesn't want to live here. Let's be clear. If you're putting up $1 million houses in Dallas, what are they getting for that $1 million? You know, for $1 million, they're getting high heat. They're getting high property taxes. They're getting lackluster restaurants. Although some people said that they eat pretty good here. You know, it's one of those things, it's a nice place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live here. I get that. That's the feeling I get about Dallas. Like, people talk about Dallas and it's like, it's not even a nice place to visit. It's an okay place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live here. And I was like, yeah, unfortunately I do. Why do you stay in Dallas? Why are you in Dallas? And it's like, the answer is God. Well, I'm not saying that I'm a believer. I'm saying that because someone in my family was a believer, I'm here. I'm here to take care of who I'm here to take care of, and then if that person passes away, I got some interesting soul searching to do, because I don't think I have a future here. I have no roots to keep me here other than, like I said, my immediate family. I feel no ties or loyalty to this city. And people criticize people for leaving, like Jason Slaughter. He left where he was in London, or he left where he was in Canada and went to the Netherlands. Well, he left, and it was a smart decision on his part, because he didn't have, he looked at that place and he said, there's no future here. That's what's wrong with North America, is people are coming here and they're starting to say, I have no future here. And if you don't see that, if you're not fighting that, it's like the story I heard about the dinosaurs whose brains were so small they didn't know they were being eaten. I think I may have said that before. I mean, here's an idea, a good indication. I'm pretty sure that this is the house that I was talking to the guy after the election, and it made it sound like everything was going to be all right. And he made me feel like, you know, hey, I can connect with my neighbors and maybe we'll get through this. And now there's a slab of rubble where that comfort used to be. And what they put here will not ever feel the same. It's going to be people who are in their houses with the shades drawn, and you never see them during the day or night. It's going to be renters. This is not the guy. Who were these people? These people, this was the corner house, and I think it was an old lady It's always an old lady. And then she dies and the kids are like, I don't want to be any part of this. Contact lens case. What street is this? This is Dunhaven. So Largadana just lost another constituent. Don't know if she was a voter or not. But a pretty good bet that whoever comes in here next won't be. And there was a house over there that they were working on. Been working on it for the longest. I don't know if they're finished yet. But where I'm coming up on now, this was a street that had character. This was for 40 years? 30 years. 30 years since over 30 years since I graduated from high school, or since I was coming back from high school. I used to walk down Clover. Clover was a street full of like hippies and artist types. And then you got stuff like this. Two bored dogs. It's still here. It's gonna still be here. And yeah, this one's my responsibility. I mean, technically it's the responsibility of whoever's got those toppers up there. And you got a guy like this who he gets the dogs and he's like, well, that's the ultimate security. You'll know when somebody's coming out in the neighborhood. Not really. Anytime you got something that's frequently loud, people just learn how to tune it out. Right now, he's tuning it out. He's got them loud ass dogs. They're outside, they're bored, it's hot. He should not, like I said, those are not dogs for the city. Those are country dogs. This asshole doesn't care. Even I tune that out. I'm putting the thing on. Just today I feel kind of talkative. Anyway, I gotta put my music back on so I don't have to hear that noise. Even if I came by during the day, they'd still be barking loud. Well, the plan was to go to bed early today when I got off of work, and then sleep during the day and get up early and get some footage of the trees touching the power lines. And there's always some bull, like I said, there's home bullshit I got to deal with. I had to fire somebody today, and he understood, but it was just one of those deals where, you know, that took up 3 hours of my day. And then there's the remembrance. And so whatever plans I had, I can't have plans because I'm around people who don't plan. You see, that's the unfairness of life, is that you are always going to be like there's a small minority of people who they planned, they taught their kids to plan, their kids planned, and those people are running things. And I'm just realizing that Yeah, there's a lot going on over here. Mixon needs a repaving. So like stuff like this, it seems harmless. You got some asshole who put this thing about finding a dog up here, and he's got it taped to this pole. And the problem is that a lot of people do that. And so what happens is, you can see it right here where the reflective strip starts to come off. And the reason they put these up here is when you're driving down here, it makes them highly visible. See, if I flash my light on this and I see this from my headlights, you know, I know that there's a traffic signal here. I know I won't hit it. I know to, you know, like I won't go too fast. And at first I looked at it and I was like, that's kind of overkill. But now I look at it and I'm like, that's a good idea. We probably need that. But when you got assholes putting signs on those posts, you can see how, like, that one part where they've got the idiot put his thing up there, I can't see the reflectors. And so you get poles that are covered in that, and all of a sudden the reflective striping starts to come off of it. And he said, we'll just keep calling the city, and the city will fix that. And that's a yeah but situation. Yes, the city will fix it, but that costs us money. Cities are already strapped for cash, and you're over here putting something on there that all of us have to pay for. And that's what I mean by assholes don't plan. You got a found dog, you got a lost dog, instead of just putting that up on the social media, there's no excuse to put that up on the thing. Even if you wanted a place, there are bulletin boards at community centers, because the chances are the kind of people that don't have social media are going to these places where they can do things for free. So put it up there. Ask the people in the thing, hey, can I put this sign up that I found this dog? And you'll probably have a better chance. You'll probably have a better chance of finding the dog, or finding the dog's owner that way, than just randomly putting it on stop signs in the neighborhood. Piss poor planning. What is it, the 7 P's? Why did I come down here? This is why I came down here. So this is a side quest that I'm going to pursue. Oops. So this is what he was talking about. So this whole alley is made out of gravel. And then when it rains, all that gravel washes out over here. And then you just see this big giant pile of mush. And it's getting all up in the street, and it's tearing up, it's damaging everything. Is this part gravel? No, it's paved. So this is something to bring up at the budget meeting. When are y'all planning on? They could put a hump or a barrier up here, but that you can see where it washes down into here, and it causes that problem there. And you got gravel coming up into the roadway. And this is District 6, and this is District 6's turn off this bad music. This is District 6's problem. So it never ends. Someone brings it up, I see it, I say, well, maybe it's time to say something about it. My bigger issue though is when I come down here, for a while there was like this big pool of water over here, and I couldn't figure out where the water was coming from. And I'm pretty sure it's just somebody who was overwatering their grass up here at the top, and so it runs down over here. And it might be also the reason why they gravel washes out like that. And someone in that alley over there is just overwatering their lawn, and it's causing this gravel washout to happen over here. Anyway, That's my problem. All of this is, I can't remember where it stops, but I need to look up the map again. I'm just kind of surveying the little side streets. Like, this is paved. Why is that one street still gravel? $33. I must have it wrong. Oh, man. No, I can't think of any areas in District 6 that are considered wealthy. Now, there are some who would point out what I was just talking about the reflective stripes on the stop signs. There's some urban planners who were saying the stop signs are stupid anyway. Once again, Jason Slaughter comes to mind. Stop signs inherently don't make any sense. You know, we do this because people are going at high speeds, and so the cheapest thing to do was just to throw a stop sign up there. You hope that out of obligation or shame or commitment, people would obey that sign. And the reality is, like right now, it doesn't make sense. Check the intersection, go through it. But what he was saying was that rather than putting the onus on the people to be on the honor system and stop when they see that sign, design the intersection in such a way that they have to stop. And it's so brilliant. It's like, it doesn't really cost that much more than the, oh man, I'm sorry, concrete cost went up. It costs more, but it saves you more in the long run. So I wouldn't be bitching about the guy putting the reflective thing on here because there'd be no stop signs. The way it would work is I'd be coming, like right now, he was talking about how the design was, him and Strong Towns and all the other folks. Here I am on the sidewalk and I come down at this intersection. I have to come down. And it's telling pedestrians, you are now entering into our car territory. You are on your own for your safety. And so here I am going into the street that comes down. And in the Netherlands, in places that design for public safety, these sidewalks are continuous. They keep going, and they let drivers know that people walk through here, that there are alternate transits. And so what it does is they come through here, and it's a speed bump. They have to slow down when they get to this intersection, otherwise they're gonna tear up the bottom of their car. They go through here, they slow down, almost stop, and then go through. And that ensures that if you got people coming from all directions, everybody has to slow down. And when you go slower, you stop because you can start seeing, oh shoot, there's somebody there. Oh, I better slow down because, you know, the road tells me I have to slow down. So they make the road narrow. They build it to where the sidewalks are continuous. And they make the roads out of a material that doesn't encourage people to speed. You know, they make these out of brick, and they make the road narrow, and they make it to where the sidewalk raises up. And so the stop sign becomes pretty much unnecessary. Rather than me as a citizen having to keep paying for the city to replace stop signs because some brachos ran through it. Instead, you got a road that if brachos come down, they're gonna tear up their car, and that's about it. So that's my take on it. Is I can sit here and I've griped about how people are putting stuff on the stop sign pole and getting rid of the reflective strip. But let's be real. We probably shouldn't have the stop sign to begin with. Has this gone back to the way it was? But see, that guy just kind of blew through there. And he can do that because there's nothing keeping him from doing it. You know, I see him doing it. Maybe there's a cop one day who actually feels like, you know, doing his public safety thing, and he writes it up for doing a roll and stop. But for the most part, we're on the honor system. They stopped because they saw me. And it makes perfect sense over here because you've got people coming, like there you go, you see people walking, and this is an apartment complex, alternate transit. So you would definitely design that intersection in such a way to where it would have continuous sidewalks. What are you thinking? I don't think I'm going to be walking the same way ever again, in more ways than one. I just decided to take Mixon to see what would happen when I go all the way. I need to figure out once again where District 6 ends. I don't think all of this is District 6. Although I guess the stuff taped to the sidewalk kind of lets me know. I mean, taped to the stop sign lets me know. So yeah, this is still an issue. But it was clever. They used to have the sign, the car, all these junk cars used to be over here. Not these junk cars, they might be junk cars, I don't know. But the guy had junk cars over there. And so what the apartment complex did was they made the whole thing fire lane. If I keep coming down here, sometimes I don't even have to keep coming down here, I just look. Probably should have crossed the street. Yeah, it's too late now. Huh. I think they used no. What happened was the code said they had to build an end cap, and they did build an end cap. It's just weird how when you come down here, the people opted out of having a sidewalk on this side. Stopped right here. But yeah, I wasn't joking. I was just saying, I was just giving a sentence on a straight observation. I was like, Dallas's problem is that nobody lives here. People work here. And because people don't live, it's a catch-22, because people don't live here, very few people are starting to work here. And so that's why it's dying out. AT&T was looking at this and they were like, we can get a better deal where the people live. So they went to Frisco. Or I mean, they went to Plano. And I couldn't figure it out. And I was looking like the rent is cheaper over there. I could buy a condo right now, which is all I need. A condo with a $300 a month HOA fee, because you know that's the way it is. It's cheaper than what I would have got for the house I was going to buy in Farmers Branch. But the idea that I can get something like that in Plano makes me think Plano is an interesting place. They got corporate campuses in Plano. I remember I was on Legacy, and I was working at EDS for a month, and that was really depressing because I wasn't getting EDS when it's in its heyday. I was getting EDS when it was failing. It was gone. It was leaving, and it was this huge, beautiful campus, and on the inside it was hollow. It was empty. Cubicles were gone. People were sitting there walking around. It looked like the fall of Rome. And they were terrified, rightly so. They didn't know where they were going to be working next. For me, I was already a veteran of unemployment. That's why I hate Bush. Because I spent most of the decade he was president out of work. And he's supposed to be the jobs president. The economy is doing so well, and I was like, you keep hearing about the economy doing so well, and you can't rub two nickels together. Both sides lie. It is a strange thing to me, though. Every time there's been a Democrat in the White House, I've always been employed. But I think that's more of what they say. Causation is not the same thing as correlation. As I get older, of course, like I said, I've lived under mostly Republican dynasties. Clinton was 8 years. Obama was 8 years. That's 16. And then Bush and Reagan were 8 or 6. That's 16 years also. Or so there was 16, and then you had Bush the older. He had his failed little 4-year crappy thing. Right about the time his presidency was ending, my dad was struggling. My dad was a small business owner. Now, I haven't been over in this area, and it shows. Something to think about, huh? Yeah, well, you know. It's kind of funny that whoever's putting these signs up, they're putting up pretty good quality stuff. This is not. These signs aren't easy to fold. That's just because I'm rolling the wrong way. Save Dallas City Hall? What's the point? Like I said, it doesn't matter where the building is. It matters what's in it. And what's in it's not worth saving, so why is the building itself worth saving? That's the question that's not being asked. If you preserve City Hall, are you going to put decent people in it? No? Then shut the fuck up. How about instead of putting signs up that say save City Hall, you say sacrifice City Council? I keep thinking about how none of this city makes any sense. I started looking at the way the district's shaped up, and District 6 is, I just walked on the tail end of the east part of it, and then if you keep going that way, it extends way into West Dallas. But then there's this like tiny little circle area that has nothing, it's not connected to West Dallas, I mean, it's not connected to District 6 in any other way. Maybe there's a road, but it's a crazy gerrymander. Now here it is. What time is it? 11 o'clock at night. Pretty sure Target's been closed for 30 minutes. Another example. This person was mad that they had to wait for me. And they just blew through that stop sign, you know, because it means nothing. They repaved this, didn't they? They fixed that pothole. And the stop sign has been replaced recently. Watched about 2 or 3 people just blow through that stop sign. It's just been rolling stop after rolling stop after rolling stop. Are you mad at them? No, it's just, this is a bad design. It's a slip lane. These things are just, I think there was a yield sign here at one point, and so what happened was they had a lot of accidents because people were merging blindly into this oncoming traffic. So the city of Dallas's brilliant solution was this: we're just going to put stop signs here. And the confusing thing was sometimes you're driving behind somebody and they stop. They thought the stop sign was for them, so they'd stop right there. And it's like, no, it's not a two-way stop. It's just they're supposed to stop, and they're not doing it. So, better drinking tonight. So what do you propose? Eliminating the slip lane. The proposal is always to eliminate the slip lane. What they replace it with, I don't know. Why is there an X here? That's never a good sign. It usually means that somebody's going to put some kind of utility pole there. That was the other genius thing they did, was they put a double white line as if they were going to stop people, and that guy just crossed it. He didn't care. What else could they do? Well, now what they can do is they can extend that curb. They need to take away a lane. But my proposal, like I said, is to move the traffic light over here, but what if they seal that entrance to the shopping center? stop making this a road and just make it a road. There's an idea for you. How would you do that? I'm not a traffic engineer. I watch a lot of them on TV. Instead of a double white line, would you just make that a concrete barrier? And then you do that, and then people are trying to merge into this. It's a bad road design. They put that overpass there so that that was a cop. They put that overpass there so that people on Northwest Highway wouldn't have to slow down when going like I say, one Marsh intersection. Maybe get rid of the bridge. Turn that back into a regular intersection. Cut out a lane here. There's an idea. That'd be expensive as hell though. They're not gonna do that. Because Northwest Highway is a state highway. Part of Loop 12. It's regulated by the state, but in order to for the state to save money, they said, hey, the municipal people, the city is responsible for the maintenance. So the people here pay property taxes, sales tax. They pay transportation fees every time they renew their vehicle registration. And so they're paying for other people to use that state highway. They're paying for the people that blow through their neighborhoods. Something to think about. Found dog. You see, that light is red, and that guy just blew through that stop sign, so fuck it. And the guy that could have been taking care of that just rolled that way. I don't know, something to think about. So all you see is problems. I tried to ignore them, but I'm just letting people know on video, yes, I do see that stuff. Yes, I do acknowledge that it happens. And no amount of me recording it and griping about it is going to change it. This happens because of the way you vote. That one hasn't moved in a while. That one hasn't moved in a while. Now I was going to isolate myself to just one side of the street. One of the reasons I came over this way is because I always want to walk against the grain of traffic so I can see what's coming. Man. Wow. No, I'm like, so I'm walking down here and I smell this spice garden, or at least I think it's smart. It might just be wild rosemary, but it's so strong. I mean, it's just, wow. You think, wow, somebody cooking spaghetti? Like, people pay a fortune for fancy spices, and there's the wild stuff just growing all around here, and you can smell it every once in a while. Real powerful smell of rosemary. The other thing that grows here pretty well is basil, or basil, depending on how you pronounce it. Am I gonna get bit? Oh, I guess we'll see. Ready. He doesn't have a registration sticker. He's got a fake one. So that's our boy, Army Ranger. Is he the guy that kept sighting for... Yep, same guy. Okay. This is gonna be a new thing to go after. So he rides his motorcycle on the sidewalk, and then he parks his car at the side, on his motorcycle on the sidewalk. Everybody's signifying that he doesn't give two shits. He can do whatever he wants. All right, something to watch. Building a case. I think I walked too far or too long. You know, the sad thing is I don't think my Google thing is going to get that. He's going to look at it, it's going to say, nobody walks that far or that long. This guy must be cheating. Yep, but so stop going down this way, start going down this way. Yeah, it's there's a lot just in this little area to keep my mind occupied. So what do the walk audits reveal to you? This whole area, the streets are badly designed. And they aren't going to change it anytime soon, because what we were pointing out at work was that the this Marsh lane right here, this goes all the way to Plano. It dead ends at Parker Road, but it's a major street. But the weird thing is, the further you head up north, as you pass 635, it goes from being a six lane wide arterial to being a 4 lane wide arterial. You say you can't do it here. Well, Farmers Branch, Plano, Addison, and Carrollton are already doing it. They're saying, like Cara Mendelson once famously quoted, they don't want their trash, they don't want our trash coming in there. So they put a little trash filter. They said, we're going to drop a couple lanes, and that should stop people from going down that. And it didn't. And surprisingly, it didn't really cause a lot of traffic or traffic jams. You keep thinking if you get rid of a lane, it'll make things worse. And it still flows. People are still using this street. They have alternatives. They can go hook over there to 35 and take 35 all the way up there. Same thing happens to Webb Chapel over there. Webb Chapel turns into Josie Road. Josie Road. And Josie is like 2 lanes in a lot of places. Sometimes it expands to 3 for turning onto a major street, but after that it just turns back to 2. So those are piss bottles. I've been picking those up a lot. Yeah, it might be time to get my trash wagon and just kind of go through here and clean up a bit. Somebody must have had a box. That's what I'm thinking. Somebody had a box full or a truck full of cardboard. And all this shit got out and spread everywhere. Okay. Let's see what we can do. All right. Yeah, so it stops. Pause. Record.